we are going over topic 15, which is all about measuring length. And remember, this is our first introduction work mat. By the way, in your manila folder that your parents picked up for you at school has all the work mats in them till the end of the year. So don't lose them and pull them out whenever you're doing a math paper, a homework page, and you need help with it. Pull out the work mat and I'll go through the lesson with you, just as if we were at school and I went through the lesson with you there. Okay, so on this work mat, we have the math words for measuring length, which are length, inch, and centimeter. Okay, length is the distance from one end of an object to another. For example, on my remote, okay, so the length would be from this end to this end, okay, how long it is from the distance from one end of an object to another. And therefore you can measure, anything in its length. And we'll talk about width later. That's for another time and another topic. Okay, then we have inch. This paper clip, and it's a small paper clip, is about the length of an inch. And there's a ruler. I also put a ruler in your blue box in that bag that I sent home with your parents so that you would be able to use that as well during this unit of measuring length. Okay. What I do want you to notice on this is when they're measuring things with a ruler, with a standard unit of measure, they put the object or whatever it is, they place the ruler on the very first black line. It's not over here at the edge of the ruler. It's right on that black line. Okay? And so that's about an inch. Also, you could use your thumb as from the tip of your thumb to that first joint from here to here is about an inch. It's about an inch. Okay? And then we have centimeter, which is smaller, smaller standard unit of measure. And notice again that it was placed right on that black line, not over here at the edge of the ruler on the black line, because you won't measure accurately or correctly if you put it on the edge. You always have to look for that first mark of the ruler. Okay? And so a shoelace is about. Keep in mind that word about is an estimate. Okay, it's not exact. It's saying it's about 1 centimeter across. And when you think of centimeters, you can use your pinky from your the width of your pinky from this end to the other as about the measurement of a centimeter. Okay? So if you don't have something to measure, you could always use your pinky, or for an inch, you can use your thumb from here to here. Okay? On the other side, there's just a few review problems. Okay, so 13 plus 13 plus 13, remember we work in the ones column, and we're going to do two numbers first. 3 plus 3 is 6, and then we add 6 and 3, and that is 9. And then 1 plus 1 plus 1 is, 3. And then we start over here, and we are in the ones column. 7 and 4, what is it? 11. Carry the 1. 6 and 1 is 7, and one more is 8. So 81. Okay, and then we go to our next problem where it says estimate the length. Okay, so while we're doing any of these activities, you have to remember that before you measure it, okay, we want you to estimate. Okay, we want you to guess. So I'm going to look at this eraser and thinking, how long is that from one end of the object to another? Well, I gave you a little tip, and you could use your thumb as kind of a guide. And I would think that that's probably about 2. Okay? And then I could pull out a ruler and measure it. Oh, it says measure in cubes. I don't have cubes, and you don't have cubes either, so what I want you to use is your paper clip. Okay, so there's one, and now I'm going to hold my finger down on that. And there's 2, so it's about 2. And you could just leave the cubes down and don't cross it out and put paper clips. I know that I'm having you use a paper clip instead, a small paper clip, which I put in your box. Okay, and this is a pine cone. You can guess about how many that is. Okay, I'll put 4, and then I'm going to measure it and put the paper clip right at the edge. Okay, then I'm going to put a little mark. Finger down, put a little mark, so I know where to start the next, when I move that paper clip. Oh, it's about 2. Okay, now does this mean that my guess, since I guessed 4, is wrong? No. No, so always guess of what you think it is. That was my guess. I estimated that it was probably about 4. And right now, I just want you to start thinking about what those measurements are, so that you can make an estimate. You can guess and get closer to it. But right now, it doesn't matter if your number is incorrect, so don't erase it. Leave it. Because I know that you put the effort in and made that estimate, that you didn't measure it. Okay? And then inside you can do the formula activity. Okay. On this one, exploring length. This is 15.1 and it says, what I measured. Okay, this is where you could take anything that you have from home and measure it. So we're going to do it a little bit. I'm going to do it here, and you don't have to go get anything, so you can just watch and then copy what I put down here, so that when you do have to do some measuring and find things, you can do that on your own at home. All right, so what I measured. The first thing that we're going to do is I'm going to measure a crayon. Okay, let's see if that's pretty accurate. It is pretty accurate. Yep. So I'm going to measure a crayon. So I'm going to put crayon, measuring tool, paper clip, estimate. Okay, so I'm going to guess. I'm going to say that this is probably 5 units long. You can use anything to measure something, okay? If you use anything to measure something, yes, that would be a unit of measurement that we used. And it's a non-standard unit of measure. We'll talk later about a standard unit of measure, but that's when we use our rulers to measure things, because that's what everybody would measure objects or things with. They would use rulers or tape measures or yardsticks. So right now we're measuring with a paper clip. So that is a non-standard unit of measure. So I'm guessing that this crayon is about 5 units long. So let's see. I'm going to put it up here. And I'm going to put it right on the edge of that crayon. Okay, so that's one. Hold it down with my finger. Put a little mark. That's one. That's two. And that's three. So it actually is 3 paperclip units long. Okay? Even though I was wrong, and I guessed a little high, it's 3 units long, and that's fine. Okay? Then I'm going to pull out a eraser. So eraser. Okay? I'm going to put it over here. And, oh, I got a guess. I'll say 2. Oh, and we are using a paper clip. Okay? So I'll say that's about 2. Okay, you got a marker? And it is about 2. It's a little longer than 2. We'll put 2 units long. And your eraser might be different as well, but this is the one that I'm using. And it's not 2.5 because it would have to be halfway over here. It would have to be all the way over here. Okay, it's just 2, and there's just a little bit left over right here. Okay. All right, and the next one, we'll measure. Let's see, what do I want to measure? Let's measure the remote. Use paper clips. And let me guess 6. Okay? And then I'm going to put this along right here. Actually, I'm going to take this off here. Okay, it's down here. Okay, so 1. I don't want to make a mark on this. Sorry, I moved it. 2. 3. 1.5. So that one's about 3.5 units. 3.5 units long. Okay? Remember, if I'm going too fast, just pause the video. All right, so now we're on the inside. And we get to measure different objects. Okay? Like up here, if you'll notice, up here it says, how long is the pencil? A paperclip is a unit that can be used to measure the length of the pencil. So we are using a paperclip. Estimate first. I think the pencil is about 6 paperclips long. You can use one paperclip to measure, move the clip add one each time, just as we have been doing. You can use more than one paper clip to measure, lay the paper clips end to end, count how many. Yes, if you have more paper clips at home, you don't have to move them. You don't have to make marks and move them, but I just put one paper clip, or maybe I could put a couple of them in your box. So, okay. Know if you're going to use more than one paper clip, they all have to be the same length. Okay, they have to be the same length for this to work. Okay. All right. Now, estimate the length of this tape dispenser. And they already did that for you. They guessed 3, and then they measured it. And they got about 2. Okay. All right. Let's do the next one. Let's measure and put this right at the edge. Paper clip right at the edge. I didn't guess. I didn't guess 4. And it was 3. It's 1, 2, and 3. And then down at the bottom it says, on this page the marker is longer than the pencil. This marker is longer than the pencil up at the top. Okay. The pencil is longer than the tape measure. Which object is longer? The marker or the tape? The marker or the tape? So which one's longer? Okay. And which one is longer, you guys? The marker or the tape? So at the bottom you would write the marker is longer, but they want you to explain. So you would say the marker is longer because it measured 3 paper clips long, and the tape dispenser was only 2. I can make that a little bit bigger if you... No, it won't let me. Okay, so I'll give you a second to write that down. The marker is longer because it measured 3 paper clips long, and the tape dispenser was only 2. Okay. Now, on the other side of this paper, you're just going to do the same thing. You're going to guess, and it says find each object in your classroom. So find your objects at home. All right? So for this one, and we'll do this together. For this one, we're going to measure this book. Mr. Brown Can Moo, Can You? All right? I'm going to guess how many paper clips it is. So I'm going to guess maybe 5. All right? So I'm going to put 5 down on my paper, okay, and then I'm going to measure it. Let's see if I can get a piece of paper to measure on, so I can mark little lines as I go. Okay, so here we go. There's 1, 2, 3, and not quite a half. So only 3. So you put 3. Okay. My next one to measure would be a box of crayons. Now, again, we're doing this together, but if you were at home and we weren't doing it together, you could use a little box of some sort of deck of cards or whatever, but since you're following along with me on the video, you can just fill in your answers as we do the measurements together. All right, so this one, the bottom of a box of crayons. All right, so I'm gonna guess 2. So put 2 down for your estimate. And I'm gonna measure. Here we go. 1, 2. I was right. Yay me. Okay, there you go. And the next one is a notebook. We're going to measure a notebook. And you can use any notebook. I just happen to have this one, so I'm going to use this one. Here's my writing tablet. Oh, I'm going to guess, I don't know, let's guess 8. Okay. So let me just write on this little tablet. You don't do that at home, but 1, 2, 3, 4. So that one's about 4.5. I was way off, wasn't I? Ooh, I really got to think about when I'm estimating of whether I'm estimating correctly or not. Okay, and then this last one, I don't have a desk, so you could do like a chair, the legs of a chair at home, all right, and measure with a paper clip. I'm not going to do that one, so I'm not going to get down on the floor and do the full measuring of from one leg to the other, but you can have fun with that one at home. Guess first, estimate first, and then measure. It says circle the best estimate of the length of the book below. Okay, now, so I want you to think about this. Is this book from this end to the other about 3 paper clips long? That's a pretty good guess that no, that is not. Okay, so then we have to decide between 5 and 9. And if you're not sure, you could kind of just go 1, 2. Oh, look at that. This one would be the correct one. And 9 would be a little long. Okay. And again, you could have used your thumb. All right, and the back page. To solve the problems, use paper clips to measure each line. Circle the line that is the longest. So you're going to use your paper clip. And you're going to place it up here. And then this one is 2. This one is 1. And see how I'm starting at the edge here. And then I'm just making my marks. And this one is 3. So line 1 is 2, line 2 is 1, and line 3 is 2. Okay? Zach finds an object that is about 4 paper clips long. Which object could it be? All right. Well, would a penny be 4 paper clips long? Would a desk or a chair or a marker, which one do you think would be only 4 of these paper clips long? Could you imagine doing work on a desk that was only 4 paper clips long? That'd be a little funny, don't you think? You're right if you guessed marker. Because I don't think you could put your cute little body in a chair that was 4 paper clips long. Oh, I don't think that would be possible. It would be funny, but when you try, but that would not work, so a marker would be it. Write a story about your hand. Measure it using paper clips. I don't need you to write a story. You could just measure your hand. You could just put my hand, and then you could just measure. Okay? And then measure it with your paper clips, and then write on it. Okay. I hope this was helpful for you, boys and girls. And now you can go ahead and do your homework page. Let me see if I can find the homework page and answer and alleviate any questions you might have on it. Sorry, it's taken a few minutes. Okay, this is what it looks like. Exploring length. Look at the crayon. About how many cubes long is the crayon? I think the crayon is about blank cubes long. You could just put a number in there to guess. I don't even care if you put the 5 there because it's kind of hard to guess once you've already had, you know, the cubes put up there. And then it says estimate the length of each object, then measure using cubes. You can measure using a paper clip. Okay, just like we showed you on the other stuff, so you can measure. But remember, guess, estimate first, and then put your actual answer down. Okay, so you have to do that with both of them. Also, make sure, guys, that you line it up right with that very first line. Okay, don't go here and don't go here. Okay, make sure that you're measuring. Okay, you don't want to start here, and you don't want to start here. You want to start right where it begins, right at that tip. Okay? All right, that should be pretty self-explanatory. And then the same thing is for the back. You're going to guess how long this line is here, excuse me, and then you're going to guess how long it is, and then you're going to actually measure it. Same thing with all of these. Okay? All righty. Until next time with 15-2.